Hey guys, and welcome to episode 30 of MCEternal, the space race. And yeah, you'll notice we've got a big empty reactor here. And I've just laid out all of this slightly different, bit tidier. And what I'm planning to do is make this guy into a breeder reactor. Essentially, a breeder reactor is just a reactor that burns through fuel really fast just to get the depleted fuel afterwards. And yeah. Now you can find layouts online, like how you should lay the reactor out, but I haven't done that. Because essentially all you want is a bunch of reactor cells. You probably don't want them connected. I mean, you could. The more that are connected, the more power you'll make. But the more that are connected, the more power you're making, the more heat you're going to generate. And we just want to have the most number of cells we can possibly have. And yeah, I had to make a bunch more reactor casings, had to go mine some lithium from the beneath. And I'm not sure how we are for cells. We're going to need a lot more than this. Like if we asked for, I mean 100 seems like a lot. We don't have enough boron or coal or lithium. Lithium I definitely don't have. Okay, let's ask for 50. Ah, still lithium. Still lithium, and I'm pretty sure I turned all my lithium into ingots. I did. I might have to go mine some more lithium. Let's see how many cells we can get. 20? Sure. And we've got all the cells left over from our other reactors. Now we're probably going to be making less power from our fuel. That's cool. That's what I want. For a layout, I don't know, if we did something like that. You can kind of do something like this. And this would result in a reactor that burns through your fuel extremely quickly. Since none of them are connecting, you're not getting the bonus. Yeah, you're not getting the bonus from touching cells. Bonus and penalty if you're counting heat as a penalty. So we don't need these cells. Let's grab our coolers. We'll just put the ones we can where we can. So all of these ones are going to be touching a cell and a casing. So that means we can put lapis coolers there. The ones in the next layer, the ones along the edge, will be able to have lapis because they'll be next to one reactor cell and one reactor casing, but the other ones, I think I'll want to use a redstone cooler. Yeah, because they just have to be touching a reactor cell. So yeah, that's probably how I will lay this out. Which means if there's a cell here, we know that it'll be a cooler here. So we can put these here, but only around the edges. Like we can't put a lapis cooler here because it's not touching a casing, so it would do nothing. And to be fair, I don't know that we actually need all of these coolers. This is potentially overkill, but we can check. Now we're going to be burning 2 fuels in this reactor. I'm just going to burn my TBU, which generates 18 heat a tick, and our uranium, LEU-235, which is 50 heat a tick. So that's going to be the most heat generating fuel. So if we put that in here, and if we close the casing, you can see we're losing way more heat than we're generating. So that's cool. That's cool. Because I'm only burning these fuels in here. So let's go ahead and put those cells in. Now, yeah, we're going to need a bunch more lithium. Like significantly more lithium. Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, we can turn this guy on. There's absolutely no reason we can't turn this guy on. And I've made sure he's in his own chunk. Yeah. In his own chunk, so that we can take advantage of our radiation depleters. You'll see the radiation is quite a lot lower in the chunk now, down to like 126 URads, and it's because I just had the reactors turned off while I wasn't playing, which was a few days. So yeah, we'll just get this guy running again. So if we're adding energy to the network, we may as well start burning up some of these fuels. Now, this could look better. This could look better. I'm not a huge fan of the lever. We could figure some other way out of not having to have a lever, but I think I want to do something like this, and then we can just close this off when we know that we just want to leave the reactor running all the time. Hey, now he's generating 2800 hour per tick, which, you know, not a lot, but we're not generating a lot. And you see it takes 2 minutes to get rid of one piece of fuel, and before it was 9 minutes. And yeah, we've done one and a little bit of one layer, so this is going to get through fuel really fast. Thinking about it, this might be too big for what we need, and maybe we could cut the size down a bit. So if we cut the size down a bit, we're going to need less cells and less coolers. So yeah, it might be an idea. I'll leave this running anyway. We can just check. We know we're going to be generating just these 2 fuels, and to be fair, we're going to want stuff coming in here. Maybe like a long and in. And yeah, you can just come out the front. It's going to look a little bit... maybe it would be better. Still, yeah, we can still reach the lever. And then these will only go into the correct drawers. That'll extract, I believe it extracts the used up fuel from there. Should do. What's the best way? I mean, we could go underground-ish. It would look nicer. Actually, we're going to want to be one lower than that. It's going to be a bit messy under there, but I mean, that's the point why we're hiding stuff under there. That it can be messy. We need some more logistical transporters, which we may or may not have in here. We got a bunch. I should probably make the advanced ones so they're a bit faster, but not really necessary for what we're doing at the moment. And it would be cool to not be able to see that there's a big hole under there. And that could go like that. I've got a bunch more of those tiles in here somewhere, but our built-in gadget will automatically pull them out. We first need to set this to shift right click to extract. Yeah, it seemed like he was... I must have had that on insert for a start. Yeah, and then he will... he's going to get stuck. He's going to get stuck. Alright. Right, we need a buffer chest since we've got 2 lots of fuel. And he's going to hold all the thorium, which is nice. We're going to want a chest there. Maybe not a chest, maybe a crate. A crate is a little bit overkill. And we don't have logs. Wait, we don't have logs at all. And we've got those logs. You're missing. Alright, well, let's fix that recipe. So what's happened here is it's expecting a very particular type of log. We should be able to fix that in our pattern terminal. Saying allow substitutions. Because we had other logs in there that will work fine for the recipe. And now if I ask for a crate, you're still going to do that. Alright. Let's just do it by hand then. And hey, a crate. And if we have this as like a buffer chest almost. Now you should, yeah, and they'll all go into this dude, and he'll be able to handle receiving both, which is cool. And he'll only be able to insert one type of fuel at a time, which is why we want this guy to be fast. Otherwise we're going to end up with a big like back stuff of one particular type of fuel, which will also be a problem for what we're trying to do with the depleted fuel, because these two depleted fuels make different other fuels, or components of other fuels, so we're going to want maybe an even amount. Probably not, we're going to end up with too much of something. That's cool. Right, I'm going to go mine some more lithium from the beneath, and possibly make this reactor a bit smaller, because this might be slightly overkill. I mean, if we wanted to speed up production, we could add more cloches. We could be putting bone meal in there as fertilizer. We'll see. We might leave this big. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's going to take us a while to fill it all up. But hey, yeah, after do some mining of lithium, make some more cells, and we'll be back. Alright, we're back, and yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. A bunch of lithium, even got some thorium and uranium, which, you know, I'll chuck in the system as well. But we mostly want our lithium, because that's what's holding us back from making a bunch of reactor cells. And look, blocks of iron. Blocks of iron. Love it. So yeah, I also set up the energetic infuser with the experience to repair items thing, and even checked on breaking on my regeneration and repair equipment golden heart thing, but yeah, it still takes a beating while we're running around mining. Now we might have to be careful with the amount of power we're using. Yeah, so we're still, yeah, we're still on the positive, but I don't have, this guy's turned off at the moment, which he's been getting a bit of stuff. He's been getting quite a bit of stuff. Yeah, like, you know, not a bad amount of infranium. Still got all of that platinum, a little bit of aluminum, bit of iridium, and plus this chest as well. So yeah, I think there was some lapis in here, but I took it out because I needed it for coolers. But yeah, we're getting some decent resources. Obviously no nuclear craft stuff, like this galena ore. You know, you can only really process it. What happens if you use this? Yeah, we'll gotta make galena dust, and then it gets blast furnace, makes silver and lead, which, to be fair, we could set up. Looks like the electrolyzer gets you sulfur, but less lead and silver. Yeah, we do have a blast furnace, so we could set this up for getting silver and lead, which maybe we should do just to use it, because otherwise I'm not going to use that galena ore. Yeah, but hey, lead and silver. Not that we're short of lead and silver. At least I don't think we are. Now, oh, yes, you ended up in... So that probably shouldn't export, because it might put something that can be smelted in there. And let's speed this guy up. To be fair, we could make some more speed upgrades for these guys, and we may as well. So these were... They were thermal augments. Processing speed, yeah. Now, I don't have any spare recipes at the moment, so let's just get 4 of them. Oh, had some lithium dust in my inventory. Yeah, I need to set up some more applied logistics, crafting, ME interfaces, and molecular settlers underground, but I haven't done that yet. And hey, this stuff can all be smelted as well. Now, we want cells. Oh, we got 20. Can we get 100? Oh, we're just missing boron and coal. Now, I don't have coal blocks. We're actually low on coal. Oh. Now, you're not supposed to be able to use these torches in space. Like if I try and place this down, it becomes like a dim torch. Oh, I thought it did. Maybe it doesn't. Coal. Coal is in this dude. We got a bit. We got a bit. Now 100 cells might seem like a lot, but I'm planning on making a few reactors, so yeah, boron. And I know I did see we had boron ore sitting in here. So we get this processing up, and there's probably a bit of boron in here anyway. Just make sure we prioritize that. And yeah, once we get our power sorted, which getting at least even the spreader reactor might be decent power, to be fair. But once we get our power sorted, I think ore processing might be the next thing. Yeah, torn between more exploration of these other dimensions and getting the base set up, because yeah, we've still got a lot to do. So we can get 100 cells, we can. Now that's going to take ages, but in the meantime, let's see what happens if we add a bunch more cells into this guy. So yeah, we're still losing a lot of heat, so we can chuck in a bunch of cells with no problems. Now I might want to come back in here and put redstone coolers, and actually cryothium coolers would be a good idea because they get rid of 160 heat a tick, and they just have to be between 2 reactor cells, so like these are perfect spots for that. But let's in the meantime, just to keep it easy, let's put awesome looking cobblestone in the places where we are going to want coolers. This will just help me keep track of it a bit better, because these cells are see-through, so it gets a bit difficult. So these guys are all going to be coolers, and we've got some more lapis, so I can at least do this outside layer. Just need 2 more. I might make them because it's going to be just a little bit more even. That's going to be... No, we'll do it later. The crafting system is going to be crafting for a while yet. Yeah, so that will change what's happening in this guy now. 2600 over 2. We're actually getting rid of even more heat a tick. Must have just been those extra coolers. Yeah, we just need those. Those cells are what we are waiting on. And yeah, this guy's just a bit slow. Oh, and you can see we're filling up some drawers. We need to set up a big storage drawer thing, possibly underground, and hook an interface into our system. Just for like the likes of our rubber and redstone, which are taking up a lot of room. I mean, to be fair, this is only taken up, like redstone's only taken up 2 and a bit slots. Rubber's taken up. Actually, no, we proved that's not the case, because some items take up more than 1k, or like 1 out of the 1024 per item. What's this guy doing? Did you finish? We're waiting on ferroboron. You've gotten stuck. It's because I was playing around with it, so if we just cancel that. We've got 96 cells. That's not bad. Oh, that was all you were waiting for. Yeah, okay, cool. But hey, let's, so you're off. Let's just plonk a bunch more cells in here. Yeah, now, so I don't get stuck in here, I'll do this way. And I might actually start connecting some of these cells together. Because if we're getting rid of enough heat, we can get a little bit of bonus power. Yeah, as long as we're not overheating the reactor, then why not? So now we're generating 5,000 hour per tick. Pretty good, but we're still getting rid of a heap of heat a tick. So I think I'm going to start connecting some of these cells together. The best way to do it... I mean, this is probably a bad idea. Let's just try... Oh. try filling this in with cells. So we're making just over 5,000 RF a tick before. Oh, now we're making 8,000, but we're generating a bit more heat. Not a lot of heat, to be fair. Not a lot of heat, to be fair. There's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way to do this. Yeah, if we want to run our void ore, or what's it called? That miner thing in the corner. The snow globe thing. We need 20,000 RF a tick to run that at full speed. And this gets rid of one fuel in 64 seconds. Oh, now I can't leave this running because you'll see he's generating heat. Oh, and this is running on TBU fuel as well. Hey, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Off, on to activate. So you shouldn't send your TBU. Kind of don't want you to send stuff. Because this is the wrong fuel. This is the cooler fuel. We'll just break this for a second. Probably the easiest way. Oh, there we go. See, that's something to be careful of using multiple fuels. So we're actually generating 17,000 RF a tick, but this is a lot of heat to take. If we turn this guy on, see this heat bar rising? Once this gets to the top, I think like he'll explode and some of the cells will explode. Not a big explosion, but it makes a mess. Puts radioactive liquid everywhere. So yeah, now that we've got enough cells, I'm going to break this guy down. So yeah, we're going to need a bunch more coolers if we're going to do that. And to be fair, cobblestone looks really dumb. Let's teach this guy. We're out of slots. What recipe can we get rid of that we don't need in this dude? We don't need that. We might still want to make the power fist, actually. We can change this pattern. Do a redstone cooler. He's going to want to know how to make redstone blocks. We got some. But yeah, let's find another recipe we don't need. So we can put this dude in here. What recipe don't we need? We might want the basic flux storage. Industrial blast furnace. We're probably not going to be making a lot of these, so we can replace him with a redstone block. I mean, let's get some more of these coolers. Nice. And yeah, we'll be back with some more coolers and we'll tidy up this guy, but get rid of all this cobblestone. Back in a moment. Alright, we're back. A bit tidier, currently we would be making almost 8,000 RF a tick and losing a bunch of heat. But so we don't make that same mistake again. I've made a bunch of redstone coolers. And yeah, so I put lapis everywhere we can, except for this front wall here. We can get lapis around it. But because these are all on like reactor casing sides, we can put them there. But these dudes have to be redstone. I mean, they could be cryothium, but we haven't got that automated or set up, you know, in a good way yet. So instead we'll put these redstone ones in here. And I expect we'll be getting rid of a lot of heat once this dude's finished. But once we've got it properly set up, then we can start replacing coolers with reactor cells and seeing where we end up. And this looks significantly better than cobblestone. Definitely don't recommend putting cobblestone in. That was a silly idea. Now, see, we can put more coolers here, more lapis coolers here. And they get rid of more heat, so yeah, definitely worth doing that. So yeah, we could put cells there. That'll be a cooler. Cell, cooler, cooler. And hey, perfect. Obviously it's not quite a symmetrical pattern, but I'm not too bothered. I mean, you could just cover it with this glass so you couldn't see that it wasn't symmetric. But hey, what do we got? What do we got? 10,000 RF per tick. We're using the hotter fuel, but we're getting rid of way more heat than we need to. I think this looks cool. So let's go around the back. And let's add our extra cells here. Now in the interest of burning more fuel, maybe we don't connect all of them together. Maybe we do like one there, one there, one there, one there. And then let's just see what that's like. Perfect. That is perfect. Yeah. 15,000 RF attack. And it's running completely heat neutral. Just want to make sure this isn't actually making like a tiny bit of heat, but it looks good. Wow. Well, there we go. A breeder reactor setup. And again, the pattern is pretty much just cooler, cell, and then just make sure on the next layer that it's the opposite. So where there was a cooler in the above layer, the below layer has a cell. You can do that. We could make this more efficient and get more power out of it if we were using cryothium coolers, because they get rid of 160 heat a tick, and we could replace quite a few of our redstone coolers. So that's quite a cooling increase. But let's see how fast this uses fuel. It seemed like pretty quick. If we grab a uranium fuel, he's going to get rid of one uranium fuel in 36 seconds. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So let's start this guy up. Let's make sure this TPU we've made actually goes in the TPU slot. And the same with this uranium. Now these guys are still running. Yeah, he's just waiting on uranium essence. He's just waiting on thorium essence. We should have a bunch of uranium and thorium from our mining expedition earlier. In fact, I think I chucked a bunch of it in here. Nice. And thorium. Cool, and we may as well chuck that into our isotope separators. And I had a couple of hoppers and chests set up earlier, just for that exact purpose. And I think that way it looks kind of cool. And this is doing uranium, so we'll chuck out uranium in here. This guy's doing thorium, so we'll buff our thorium in there. You can see this is Tech Reborn thorium, whereas he's processing nuclear craft thorium. But they should both work. Yeah, Tech Reborn works just as well. So don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you can see we're making more 238 than we're actually using. So eventually we're going to end up with too much 238 in here, and we'll have to clean that out, and the same with this thorium. But hey, look at that. Look at that. And we're ending up with depleted fuel. Burning through this really quickly. Since we're generating way more power than we need, let's adjust the limit on this guy. So I was running him at 6,500. Now what, we're making 15,000 and we're not using most of it. Let's set him to 14,000. Turn him on. And he's mining pretty quickly. Which means we're going to have to deal with all of this stuff in the near future. Which, hey, that's not a bad problem to have. We kind of want like this stuff to be going straight into chests. Storage drawers. Whereas we probably want to be processing this ore. And the mechanism like ore tripling could be the way to go. I mean, I don't know if I can be bothered setting that up just yet. A blossoming sapling. Cool. And we're getting all sorts of random stuff in here. Just eventually, it's going to clog up all of this. But hey, so that is how you make a breeder reactor. And let's just have a quick look at the next step. So, okay, cool. You've got a breeder reactor. So what? Well, we're going to be getting these 2 depleted fuels, and they're a little bit radioactive, which is going to, yeah. We've got 83 MRADs a tick, pretty much because we're holding these. So let's add these to there and put these back in the drawers. And we're down to 25 MRADs a tick because us holding it irradiated the chunk a little bit. And I haven't got these set up ideally. Speaking of those guys, let's buy a radiation strongbox. Get another radiation scrubber, and hey, we even got some red away, so let's munch on that to get rid of our radiation. And we'll set up this radiation scrubber in a bit. But okay, so we got these fuels. And if we use this in a fuel reprocessor, we're going to end up with some more 238 uranium, which we've already got excess of in one of those other machines. We're ending up with neptunium and a couple of different plutoniums. 239 and 241. Now I don't think... Yeah, I don't think there's actually a plutonium fuel that uses 239. So we can't make a fuel just out of what's coming out. Can we use 239? So 239 needs 242, which we're not going to be making, so we can't strictly just use that fuel. Okay, what about our neptunium then? So we still need neptunium-236 to even make another fuel out of this. Okay, interesting, interesting. So that's what's coming out of our... That was a uranium fuel, wasn't it? Yes. So you can't get away with just having either uranium or thorium. You actually need both. So if we look at what comes out of our depleted TBU fuel, getting uranium-233, which is a different uranium that we haven't had yet. 235, which might be... That's what's used in this. So using TBU fuel, you get like one of the key ingredients for making more 235. So that's neat. That's pretty cool. So let's go back to our TBU fuel and we want to see what it uses. Let's just add these things. So 235 we're getting, so that's cool. Neptunium-236, I think is the counterpart for that neptunium. And some neptunium-237, which we're already getting, but we're getting a bunch from this. So I think the next fuel we can make some more LEU-235. I think we can make 236. Yeah, so we're going to be able to make our LEN-236. You can oxidize the fuel as well, which you just make an oxidizer, which means you'll generate more power and more heat from the fuel. It does mean that the byproducts you get are also oxidized, so you kind of want to be oxidizing your TBU and LEU-235 before you use it if you want to go the oxidized route, which we could do, but that would increase our heat and would have to change our breeder reactor. Probably worth it overall, but I'm not too bothered. Like, we're generating a lot more power than we're going to need, even at this stage, without any of the next reactors we're going to make. So we're going to be making our neptunium fuel, and this is going to get a bit confusing, but now you can make these HEN fuels, and they make way more power but way more heat. And pretty much the pattern with these is normally your fuels take like one type of the fuel, so Neptunium-237. And the HENs, the only difference between how you make them is you have more of this first one. So, yeah, like the regular one, the LEN, which stands for low energy, Neptunium in this case, low energy Neptunium-236 fuel, has less of this 236 than it does of the 237. And it's the same with our LEU-235. I believe you can make HEU-235? HEU-235, which takes more of the 235. And yeah, also not a bad way to go. Normally it's harder to get this component of it. So at the moment we're making way more of this part than we are of this part. Like it's this bit that's holding us back. So we're not going to go that way. But we're going to make this 237 fuel. 236 fuel rather. And it also seemed like we're getting 233, which uses some of the 238, which we have excess of. So the two next fuels we're going to make, which I suspect can probably also go in this breeder reactor, are our 233 and our 230 LEU 233 and LEN 236 fuels. And I think I'm just going to process the outputs of that and put it back in the breeder reactor. I'm going to set up a separate storage drawer wall for all the different radioactive components we're going to be making, because there's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out of this, and it's a little bit difficult to organize. It's not as straightforward as like make the seed, process, make the fuel, craft the fuel, send it to a reactor. You can't just take these outputs and like pipe them into like a reprocessor or whatever, because you're going to end up with stuff you don't need, so you need to put that somewhere. And I find like just a storage drawer wall with the... So we're going to want a drawer controller and these controller slabs, because you can put pipes to pipe items out of these or in, and we can put filters on them, so we're only sending certain things into certain machines. And that's how I'm going to deal with all the different fuels we're going to be making. But hey, we've got our decent breeder reactor set up, which is actually making way more power than our previous design and getting through the fuel way faster. I'm hoping it's going to be using it fast enough that our seeds in the background there can't keep up, because we're also going to be making extra fuels out of the byproduct, and it's going to be going into the same reactor. So we don't want a backlog of fuels. But hey, this has been ClassicDuff. You've been watching the episode. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, where we're going to make some more radiation.